So this video is called "The One Where the Lord Belial Works in Mysterious Ways." So this is also why I'm telling you this tale. Everything's fine, whatnot. But why I'm telling you about this is for two reasons. One is being able to discernment. We talk about that a lot here on this channel, especially when working with spirits. And also that goes in hand or whatever with discernment is not like, oh my God, Belial's trying to kill me, because Belial wasn't trying to kill me. But here's let me tell you this the tale. So I've mostly this year, we're almost into August of 2025, and how this year passed that fast is beyond me. Um, but I've mostly been doing a lot of path working with Sorath. So, and I'm still working with my other spirits, so, but Belial had been coming up a lot for me again lately. And it was like, it kind of got to the point where I was like, um, is Belial trying to kill me here for a minute? Because it was just not literally, but like there was just this series of things that happened. So if you remember back in May, when I stabbed myself in the foot, yeah, I was making a Belial flying ointment at the time that that happened. I was like, trying to tell me something here, Belial? Didn't think too much of it. And it's like I kept having like this all these things where Belial, it's like Belial appears, something goes wrong, and I was like, what is going on here? Because it's like I had that in May, and then I broke a crown, and I need some dental work, and then I got Belial was coming up again and again and again and literally, because when I had gotten sick, I had a very terrible stomach virus or norovirus or something, and right after my birthday in June. And it was funny because I think I just kind of popped into Sarah Petroselli's live stream that day. If I happen to pay attention and see a live stream pop up, sometimes I pop in. And hers are usually during the day. And I think, we were chit-chatting about Belial, and, I was talking about how my energy felt so chaotic because, but the thing that was interesting about it is I had just taken off that weekend to relax and rejuvenate because having stabbed myself in the foot in May, got really far behind on things, and it's just been this like this. And but what's interesting with each of these pieces of these things, so when I spent like an entire day in the ER to the tune of about $26,000. I must have used a lot of ice bags for my fever, but anyways, it's all of these things kind of kept happening, and Belial kept popping up, and I'm kind of like, anytime I would go to work with Belial, it would be like, we cool? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I was like, Belial, what's up? Like, why am I constantly like, injuring myself, sick, all these other things? And, when I would work with him, it would be fine. So I was getting confused, and this is sometimes where discernment helps. And also, talking to other people, having readings. And really, a lot of what Belial actually had a conversation. I think S. Conley did a reading for me, with Belial and stuff. And basically, all of this was freaking pesky little demons, aren't they? I need to take better care of myself, and I need to allow myself like free time. So I've been trying to not have, such an ass backward. I'm like, oh, okay. So what I was, now you could look at this in multiple ways. Like I could have seen this as Belial's throwing all these obstacles in my way. Why is Belial mad at me? Why is somebody cursing me with Belial, and Belial just kind of, whatever. So this is where the discernment comes in handy, and doing divination readings, all that outside help. Belial just wants me to take better care of myself and, you know, home, because things have been obviously very stressful. Gestures around at the world like we do. And it's hard to plan when you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen next. It's like with business stuff, a lot of it's just treading water. Like honestly, that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just treading water, because who the fuck knows? I'm not investing a whole lot of money in anything at this point in time because, don't want to end up in more debt. Don't want to be like, well, society, the economy, everything just collapsed, and well, here we are. But oh, hold on. I think I had made at some point I made I made a Belial timeline. Oh, okay. So that was interesting. Because the other thing that kept coming up for me too was the solve a coagula, which is an alchemical thing, which had to do with one of the it was one of the card pulls I think I did for Belial that came up for. So it was like I wrote a timeline of the thing. So May 4th, stabbed self in the foot while making Belial flying home. Somewhere between May 4th and July and June 9th, I broke the crown. Oh, and then the other one, like there was just all these little other things. Belial just keeps popping up. So I had a wholesale order, and randomly, and I don't think they've ever ordered anything from Belial before, but they ordered a Belial oil, and it broke in transit. And as I mentioned on the 9th is when I think I was talking about um with Sarah Petroselli about Belial, and then I had a 3-day purge where I vomited out my soul, and I am not exaggerating on that one because I was throwing up like IV fluids and contrast stuff at one point, so it was kind of gross. Um, Now, I'm getting through doing it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I walked by my altar, so I have directional candles for each of the spirits, and my Belial candle, it was just a taper. It wasn't lit, but it fell out of the holder. So now we're at the beginning, we're July 3rd. So I mentioned, oh, then on July 7th, I managed to knock over a black 7-day candle, spilled it all over my carpet, the kitchen floor, and myself. And of course, it was on top of a Belial altar cloth. So I was like, Belial, what's going on? Because like when I would go to work with Belial in ascension mode, like I went to work with him and he gave me a big hug, and I'm like, this is weird. Um, but anyways, I think S. Conley had done a reading for me on it, and yeah, it basically turned into like take better care of yourself, because now like we kind of look at this chain of events of all these Belial things that happened, and they are because I had pulled some cards for myself. I wish I wrote down what they were, because I know one I was using the Oraculum Leviathan deck, and I know one of them had to do with that alchemy solve a coagula. Um, but the all of these things, while they sucked, um, got me to I quit vaping back in I'm almost I'll be well, let's see. The last day I vaped would have been June 9th, which is when I got really sick. So I'm a month and a half vape free. I eat a lot of mints and I'm okay. But the thing is with being with as sick as I was and in hospital, they had to do some extra testing, like they did a CAT scan because of, the abdomen. They wanted to rule out like appendicitis, pancreatitis, all that stuff. So part of the reason I quit vaping is I do have a small nodule on my lung that I just have to keep an eye on. And considering I smoked for a very long time and vaped off, vaped for probably like the past 10 years, it was time. I'm not getting any younger, so. But it's all of these things are in this part and parcel. I could have done without the extra medical bills, but it's making me realize that I need to prioritize my health and well-being and just time. Like, I need to prioritize myself better. Speaking of bench, gonna have a mint than I have been, because there's always this work, work, task, 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 work, 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 keep working. I'm like, it's not that I've gotten away from my spirituality. It's just that I don't always have time for it. Or I'm like, wow, it took me 3 months to clean my whole bathroom. Well, maybe longer. I think I still need to clean the tub basin better. The tub has one of those weird, like, I forget what they call them. It's like a liner kind of thing where it's like, it fits like over the original tub, but it's got texture to it. So it's just like, you really have to scrub it. That's annoying. But this is the thing. I think I talked about this too a little bit in the ableism video that I did previously, is that I need to take better care of myself. I'm a disabled business owner. So being a disabled business owner, like where I lose a lot of time in the course of any week because I always have something going on. I always have a doctor. I don't think I have any doctor's appointments this week. Holy crap. But like sometimes even if it's just something small, like yesterday or last week I had to run up to Allentown to pick up my backup glasses. You may remember my old glasses. So just got the frames updated or the lenses updated. But, it's like stuff like that. I mean, that just took a chunk out of my day. However, I stopped for German food and had some Black Forest schnitzel and amazing, like, holy freaking mouth porn Amish potato salad. And, came home and rest. Like, I'm having some issues with my sleep right now. Um, Fun week last week because on my way home from my getting my SI joint injections, there was flash flooding, and I learned that if I'm not home, I can't get there because I'm like on top of I'm on a hill, but like it's I'm upstream from the stream, which floods, and it's like the way the access goes around here, depending the way it floods out, I couldn't get home, so I had to like go hang out at my parents' house, which is thankfully on the other side of the stream for the evening. But until until we made sure that we could, because my parents were driving and stuff like that, and you know um. So yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story here is when you start getting a series of signs and portents and omens from Belial of things happening, sometimes it's like, pay attention. What am I trying to tell you here? And if I was a novice, I might be like, oh my God, Belial hates me. Or, oh my God, demons are evil and icky and he's trying to kill me. This is why having discernment. I've worked with Belial for 5 years. I know how Belial is. And we're fine. We're good. Got backup readings that from other people, and all of which were like, yeah, you need to like calm your tits, woman, and take take a chill pill and take some time off. So that's kind of the moral of the story here, and what I wanted to talk about a little bit with Belial, because sometimes the Lord Belial does work in mysterious ways, which now reminds me that I probably have to go. I think I need to go talk to Azazel I was on my way home last night. I was driving the back roads home from the shop, and I'm like, so there's just some random goats running around along the road here. There's some, I live in a, there's a, I'm surrounded by farms and stuff, so not completely out of the ordinary, but I guess some goats made a break for it, and I was just like, ha ha ha, scapegoat. And I was like, all right. That's probably a sign that Azazel's like, pay attention. So when I talk about when spirits come up for me or when they start popping up, usually there's a reason for it. And I've just been working with Belial a lot more. Yeah, meditating with Belial. I've, doing, in ascension mode, astral work, burning candles, ritually things, all of that. So in the end, what have we learned? Jen needs to take some time off. Boy, howdy. That is not something I am particularly good at doing myself. So, um, yeah. I'm just gonna keep this video probably short, good, but I like giving these little anecdotes and things. My necklace across the room. Because like when I mean, I've been working with Belial for 5 years, and this one kind of threw me a little bit. So, like, if you're new of working with Belial, or suddenly something weird is going on, and you're like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me here, that'd be why. So, I just like to share my experiences because sometimes, hey, if they help like one person, um, go, oh, I get it now, worth it. Hi, Corey. Yes, hi. Come here. Let's not knock everything over. Corey does not work in mysterious ways. He works in food and love motivated ways. Yes, he does. Oh, look at that face. Look at that fish. Look at that fish. Mm. All right, Bubby. How about you go hang out over here? Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe because Corey would love that. Because Corey loves love. So if you love Corey, please give us a like and a subscribe because he's the best. Anyways, love you all. Bye. Hey, just wanted to add one thing I forgot to put in the video last night, so I'm just recording this at a later date for editing. Is in my workings with Belial recently to figure out what of the situation was. Um, if you've watched my videos, I'll link them below. I love working with Belial because Belial is very no BS. And we were talking about the whole lawless one thing, which I have a video on before. I think a lot of people in the left-hand path use the whole Belial, the lawless one, as an excuse for doing bullshit. Very also very similar to the way in which everyone seems to stop at "Do what thou will be the whole of the law," the Aleister Crowley saying, except not focusing on do what thou will be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. That kind of contextualizes it more than, woohoo, we can do whatever we want, lawless ones, no laws, blah. So those two things interrelate. But anyways, what Belial was saying about the lawless one sort of thing in a very deadpan, dry, what he's like, we exist outside of space and time, so technically, yes, lawless is we all are lawless ones in that because like what are you gonna get a speeding ticket in the astral realm? Belial kind of puts things in a very Belial way. In Belial, sometimes in that I usually I'm like Belial be Belialing because sometimes Belials. But I just wanted to add that sort of concept in there of Belial as the lawless one. And sometimes that could be the literal translation of what, the name means. But in our modern 2025 contextual um, space that we're in right now, using this whole lawless one as an excuse for bad behavior to justify it is kind of, as the kids today say, cringe and delulu. It's the excuse for bad behavior, and I'm kind of over it, and I think Lyle is too. But, if you don't believe me nor Belial, I'm sure Belial will Belial things up for you. Um, but yeah, so it's the lawless part of it is when you're thinking of spirits or divine intelligences that exist beyond the bounds of space and time and like liminal spaces and different realms and even just the astral realm. Like, yeah, are you going to get a ticket for speeding in the astral realm? Probably not. Um, Anywho's. So that I just wanted to add that little nugget of Belial wisdom in here. Because I do love working with Belial, but anywho, and now